Hello and welcome everyone to another ALttPR Rando race. This one is going to be between Sakyori and Signumbs. I am Tirasu and I'm also going to be joined here today with Seto10987, or Seto for short.
Hey, hey! Looking forward to another good night of racing. We have an Randomizer tonight.
Yes, we have an Randomizer. This is going to be fun. Get your calls in now for where runners are going to run into each dungeon.
Personally, I'm looking forward to a straight up easy boss execution.
I'm just hoping to have, after the Key Sanity we just saw, I would like to see something, not too evil. Only 2 Trinexes.
Only 2. I like it. I'm looking for viddies, cold stares, challenges that are nice and quick.
I would love to just see Helmasaur and Mothula, because that is the most hilarious thing.
Also quite evil. I like it.
I don't know. I find that Helmasaur and the Mothula lair is not that bad. It's just you don't have to worry about the tail. It does things. And it looks like we're off, and starting off right away with a hammer. Very nice. And it looks like we're going to go ahead and get some quick divergence right off the bat.
Yeah, Sakyori is taking the traditional open straight up to Uncle. Probably get a tree pull. Oh, but does not kill anything first, so actually doesn't get anything.
That's a little unfortunate, but it's not that big of a deal. But now we're going to get to check out our uncle with a Cane of Brian. And it looks like Signumbs is going to go ahead and give us a Lumberjack check. And the tree pull a bunch of full magics. That's going to be very useful as the game goes on.
Definitely can pay off.
So for anyone that's curious, the reason why we have the weird colors is just palette swap. To me, it looks better. Ooh,
Signumbs pulls a Lumberjack. There's nothing but cash, so maybe no Aghanim.
Maybe not. But looks like we're going to go get to check some more of Escape on Sakyori's side while we get Lost Woods on Signum.
I kind of like the escape idea. I mean, hammers in hands, you can kill everything in here nice and... Hello, Hinox.
Yeah, luckily the hammer is the first item. That's always nice because it does tempered sword damage. Just a smaller hitbox.
Hey, better here than Lumberjack.
Ooh, and that's an early death on Sakyori's side. And we got the red meringue on Signum's side. Three-heart Randomizer, though, bailing out of the escape. I don't blame them so much on this one. Oh, looks like they're going to attempt it again.
Signumbs heading into the village. Or maybe not. Just avoiding the BMOS, I think.
Yeah, that BMOS location is a little mean. Or could also be picking up that fish. That's going to give them some supplies.
That will get them, if they didn't already have full magic, handfuls of bombs, cash. That bottle merchant loves fish.
Another death. Those guards are just being very cruel. Alright, let's take a look at what we have in Blind's hideout today. Some arrows, a little bit of love. First sword, always nice. And a big 20. And just some more bombs.
So, I mean, there was a sword, but really not much else of value yet. We've still got plenty of checks in the village, though. Sakyori, meanwhile, heading into the woods.
Gonna head into the woods and then immediately follow right into Kakariko. And there's our first glove upgrade. And Signumbs just picked up a 10-pack of bombs. That is actually the 10-pack you would get from your uncle if this was a standard mode. And just 50 off the bottle merchant. Not a total ripoff this time.
Got our first heart container, though. Always welcome this earth.
Especially in Randomizer where you don't know what you're going to run into. Sakyori is now checking some of the same checks Signumbs has done. Got his sword. The interesting thing, though, to note is normally in Randomizer, the chicken hut is very, very deadly. And this time it was really nice with just chickens.
That's a rare breath of fresh air. I hope both these runners enjoy.
Oh, that's a bow on library. And we get a map check. Looks like 5-6 at Desert, another crystal at Eastern, and a pendant Tower of Hair.
Right side of that bow location is they will get booed.
That is very true. And race game just having some arrows. No one's going to go bother with.
No.
I wonder what Signumbs is doing. Oh, with the glove upgrade, going to do the back of a skate.
Good heads up play. The gloves also opens up.
That is nasty.
That is why standard does not randomize enemies in Randomizer.
That is correct. Finding ether and one of the small keys.
So that's every non-dungeon item in Escape. Every other item is going to be officially in.
So now we have Signumbs heading into the South Shore, gonna clear the dam and head over to the mini mole dorm, more than likely.
So 2 items here in the day.
First one is just some bombs.
And a piece of heart for number 2.
But in this mode, those pieces of hearts do pay off. So I don't blame them for not skipping any of them, or at least early on not skipping them. Ooh, a Lionel.
All right, ready for some potential craziness and mini Moldorm cake.
See what we got today.
Not too bad.
Pretty easy. And one just committed suicide, so even easier.
Sakyori, right in Signumbs' tail, so you're probably heading to mini Moldorms. Alternatively, he could head towards Agina, but I mean, nobody wants it.
There's a bloomerang and a lamp. The mirror. That is a pretty loaded mini Moldorm cave.
It can be. Between mini Moldorm and Paradox, I mean, they're probably the two most likely new hype.
That they are. It seems that they always have some sort of progression. And we have a Lionel just running around on the water.
Nothing wrong there. Nothing wrong. And Signumbs opens the giant rock. There's a 20 rupee firm spot there, but I can't imagine him actually planning on.
So I don't think they would farm it. I would be more surprised or more expecting of a Houlihan setup.
Yeah, about to say, and there's a real easy way to set that up in the graveyard with Glove.
That there is. And it looks like Signumbs with that lamp and glove is going to make the Death Mountain play.
Hey, Hera's full clearable.
Hera is definitely full clearable.
It is, however, a pendant, so don't know if he's really going to want to completely finish it.
I'm a little surprised instead of going to Hera, why not go towards the Eastern Palace? Then again, without the bow, you can't full clear it.
Yeah, I'd imagine they're trying to hold off on that until they get boot. At least trying.
Well, in actuality, we don't even know if they can kill the boss in Tower Hera or Eastern Palace. Remember, in Randomizer, just because it's bow locked in one version doesn't mean it's going to be bow locked in this one, because the enemies are chained.
Yes, you're completely correct on that. Bow is not a requirement. Sakyori is going to go ahead and make that back of escape play now. Pick up her for a minute.
Just a big 20 on top of Spectacle Rock, and then going to jump in and grab this hint and whatever the item is. Another piece of heart.
Oh, thank you, hint tile.
Well, if they wouldn't have already found it, that would have been nice to see. I like this from Sakyori's side. Because they have the lamp, they're going to do the rest of the back of escape.
That's a good heads-up play.
It's only one item, but it is a one-off location. You don't really want to isolate, because it's going to be a little annoying to come back to. Oh, but they forgot to grab the key from what normally would be the rat. And it looks like, well, they have the hammer, so they can get to the other side of Death Mountain with the mirror. Our other 5/6 is Skullwoods, and our green pendant is Ice Palace, and our final pendant is Swamp Palace.
Feels really nice to be able to fill in all the pendants and crystals this early in after the last match.
We just got one of our joke hints. And there's our Moon Pearl, so now we have Dark World access. So that means Aghanim is completely...
Yep. Sakyori's going to have to be very careful sitting at half a heart.
There's our compass. Unique item requires the bombs.
Kind of a vague hint.
That it is. Small key. So what they're hoping for is to find an item on whatever the boss is, so that they don't have to do that fire-locked coffee break room.
Speaking of bosses, our boss this evening is Mothula.
That's pretty easy. Mothula is only hard in their own room. Ooh, but Sakyori is taking another death.
Quick, easy moth fight. The only real issue she could have at this fight is if that moth were to fly over this over the pit, but nothing like that.
Nope, very quick, very clean moth fight in Troll Dorm's lair. And that is the boss the runners, for the most part, will want to see in a lot of the dungeons over pretty much any of the others, because it's very easy.
Very easy, very fast.
Lionel causing a little bit of trouble on Signumbs' side.
And there is that single arrow on Hylia High, or on floating.
And that's where that single arrow will remain for the entirety of the game.
A constant reminder to the trolliness of this game. Oh man, and that thief. Speaking of trolls. Sakyori's gonna go for the bomb jump.
And doesn't get it.
At least with the star tile pushed, it's only a single floor drop.
That is correct.
Signum's having to be very careful from that.
Not the worst walk of shame, but still even slower than normal. All for their first bottle. Looks like this Randomizer is favoring the thieves quite a bit this time.
I've seen quite a few Lionels too already.
Looks like we had another one up there as well, as Signumbs heads into their Paradox cave. Just a bunch of money. Ooh. Making very good use of that boomerang to get through that room.
And we have a 5 rupee stun prize.
And we are going to get our coffee break on Sakyori's side. Signumbs finishes up Paradox Cave. I'm guessing probably going to head into the Dark World now.
No reason not to at this point with Moon Pearl in hand. Sakyori gets knocked off the poke or the thing there, but fails her coffee.
Yep, so he's going to have to use the sword and carefully make sure he knocks down all the time. Another interesting thing about Randomizer is in tile rooms, you won't see random enemies, but you'll see random tile layouts.
Actually,
in this case, we got a smiley face.
Didn't Moth have an item, actually?
Moth did have an item. I don't think it was anything important, though.
That would have been 2 items, then.
Or maybe it wasn't. Well, no, here. Yeah, Moth had an item. Didn't think he had the... Alright, Signumbs is going to head into Skull Woods. Now, without the Fire Rod, they can't finish this dungeon. As Sakyori goes to take their walk of shame. And takes yet another death. But Titansmiths, that opens up almost everything. Don't know how a runner would feel about that. Yeah, you have access to everything, but that also means there's so many places you can go. And it looks like Signumbs is going to start heading into the Thieves' Town, Village of Outcasts area. Hopefully finding a little bit more progression. Just another heart container. Still pretty nice to find, especially since they're still on that green mail.
Still nothing much else progression-wise, though.
No, still looking. And just another bottle. Sakyori side, they did find their first bottle as well, which was... I'm surprised that Signumbs hasn't decided to chop off that bottle at the bottle, or the sick...
Well, we'll get a sick kid visit eventually.
Meanwhile,
Sorry,
he's going to go ahead and do the Smith, at least part of the Smith sequence.
Yeah, turn that Smith in, hammer pegs. I imagine Purple Chest will wait a little while. Probably gonna see a Thieves Town visit.
And we have silversmiths today. It's a very nice find early, especially if you end up running into things like Armos Knights and Vitreous. It's going to make those fights much faster once they find the boots to get their bow, of course.
Not a very friendly Beamos, though.
Just another piece of heart at hammer pegs. And here's our sick kid check.
All right, here we go.
Another heart container. Well, at least they're not hurting for health.
Right. First fetch quest leads to nothing. Here goes Thieves Town, though.
Taking a death. Might be... It looked like they might have just been trying to take the death for a health refill.
Yeah, that looked pretty intentional to me.
Now they have enough money to do whatever they need in the game, at least required with money. Sakyori now making their way into the village of Outcasts, Skullwoods area. It's kind of a mean placement for a mini Helmasaur. But they do find their key to the rest of Thieves Town.
And we do have a wall master running around here, too.
That is never fun to find. And there's our book.
Early book means at least they'll be able to route tablets in fairly easily.
This is true. And with them being right here, I wonder if they'll go ahead and do a quick pedestal check.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, actually, this early in the seed with a pendant already in their...
Sakyori getting a hold of their second bottle as they work on the village of Outcasts.
Worth noting, Signumbs could have went ahead and popped in that boss room, seen what the boss was for the dungeon. You don't have to blow the ceiling up and go down to Blind Cell to actually fight the boss.
No, you don't need to blow the ceiling up. You can walk right on in and see what the boss is. And if you can kill it, go ahead and clear it and then come back in. They might just be focusing on muscle memory.
Yeah, looking for every additional item they can. They are still on fighter sword. It'd feel pretty bad to tinker with a boss for 10 minutes just to find a sword in here. Taking a death in the hellway, too.
Yeah, even with all the hearts, this is not... Dark Randomizer is still not easy. Sakyori starts making their dive into the Thieves' Town.
Picks up her wad of cash and continues.
Signumbs still gonna try to go through the hallway and get the rest of the items before they go to the... But definitely making good use out of that boomerang.
It's gotta be used for something, though, right? Stun prizes aren't really gonna pay off. Oh, man!
I think Signumbs is just evaluating what to do. Those rollers do a lot of damage, especially on green.
I was even about to say, this room could be kind of tricky in Randomizer. We'll see what it is, and it didn't even give me a chance. Hey, we got a cannon guard.
Interesting fact, those guys do not exist in the original game.
Well,
Their data's in there, they're just not used.
Yeah, technically they do, they just don't.
They're one of the awesome perks of Randomizer.
These guards are putting up one world of a fight.
This is a pretty cruel Randomizer Thieves' Town. And that's yet another death. Deciding to dip out. It's an interesting choice. I don't think they realized that they could walk into the boss room and fight the boss. So they're passing up on a crystal for now.
Well, at the very least, it is Thieves' Town. It is Village of Outcasts. They'll be back in the area at least.
Luckily, it's a pretty easy area to get back to, especially once they find the flute. Dig game just having some bombs, not too useful.
And there's Sakyori contemplating life for him.
Ooh, taking a death.
Ouch. And Signumbs gonna go ahead and grab that purple chest. I don't blame her.
I don't either. At this point, you take that purple chest and head back down, check, Cave 45, Stumpy, and then Hype Cave along the way. Makes perfect sense to grab it right now.
Yeah, basically, once you get that dig game out of the way, you're free to carry.
Cave 45 just having a big 20. And Sakyori is going to give us a boss check. It is just a five-eyed Moldor. Opting to use the fighter sword instead of the hammer, though.
It is definitely an interesting decision, one I don't completely understand. But I mean, to each their own.
Regardless,
Gets the kill.
still gets a nice kill. For just the map, but it is a crystal, and Hype Cave giving some blue goo, but that's about it.
Some life. That's her third bottle, though.
That is the third bottle, and blue goo is always useful. Sakyori, meantime, making their way to try to finish up Thieves Town, really doesn't want to come back.
And we're about to find out what's sitting in the purple chest. Oh my goodness.
That's the boots. It's time to go fast.
And that is a huge advantage. As a matter of fact, we're right here going to check that Bombos tablet with boots in hand. We can, boss notwithstanding, guarantee a finish.
Just the 3-pack of bombs, but also going to pick up the Agina Cave as well. And that's our cape.
Don't know if necessarily it'll be useful yet. We have not seen Bumper Cave, but if it is, it's in hand, so it's a good safety.
It's a very good safety, especially an Randomizer. As you can see on Sakyori's side, they found that Cane of Brian very early, and they've been making good use of it.
Correct. We just seen a mushroom on a desert ledge, too. Talk about fetch quest.
Finding that small key right away. Still gonna be looking at that torch, see if this dungeon was boots locked.
There's a semi-decent chance it wasn't, though, considering small key where it was. Even if it is, though, we're...
That's true. Though this Gibdo giving some trouble. And it was boots locked. Luckily, have the boots already. Ooh, Sakyori just made a mistake on their side, I believe. They meant to check the big chest and instead pulled out their mirror.
Man, I'm gonna say at this point, just gamble it.
Well, there's the hint about the chest.
You know, that is not the first time I've seen a boot-related hint in that.
The irony. And that's all 4 bottles on Signumbs' side. As Sakyori is now doing their digging game, gonna get some bombs for their trouble.
Well, at 40 minutes in with 11 hearts, almost all the safeties, we're looking pretty. Does not have Brian yet, or Berna, but we know where it's at least.
That we do. And Sakyori not grabbing the Smith sequence, and that's 2 actually pretty big items. Nice little heads up by Sakyori, knowing that a lot of those pots contained hearts to fill up their health. Alright, what boss are we going to find in Desert Palace today?
Armis.
Probably wishing they would have went to the library first now. Luckily, Armos is pretty easy. Sakyori does grab their 3rd bottle in the meantime.
Interestingly enough, although not really very time convenient, they could do boomerang strats at this point.
I think if they had nothing else to use, they might do boomerang strats, but that sounds painful.
It's just a little bit of fun trivia to remember. It's funny that a boomerang can actually... Of course, if you've played Link's Awakening, then you know the power of a boomerang.
Always an interesting game.
Always interesting to one-shot a final boss with a boomerang.
That it is. But with this sword, this Armos is just very slow and monotonous.
I'm pretty sure she's got a fairy, but might want to switch to boomerang if she keeps taking damage like.
Got a fairy and got a blue goo. And pyramid's not really anything important. And it looks like Sakyori is going to go turn in their mushroom, maybe. Yeah, going to turn in their mushroom, maybe do catfish as well.
I'm still holding on to that fairy with half a heart.
Another interesting fact, since a lot of runners, you typically see them quick kill Armos. When you're down to 1, it actually gets a full health refill. Catfish is just a little bit of love today.
It's a crystal, but otherwise just plate and nacho.
₹300 on Zora Ledge. Looks like they're going to do a quick Zora check on the Sakyori side. I wonder where Sig is going to go. Ooh, but Sakyori does take another death on their way up to Zora.
Imagine Signumbs is heading for that. Well, maybe not heading for that. King's Tomb.
Probably going to do all the bonk locations and work their way back to the library to pick up their bow. Just a big 20 in King's Tomb. Not any progression. Oh, that's right. Sakyori did not do Skull Woods, so they did not get their Titan's mitts. But there's our flippers at Bonk Rocks.
Water toast. Now we're heading for that boat. It looks like Sakyori is heading for the Pod Eastern combo. It's gonna be real painful without that bow in hand. I think she's just looking for those.
Looking for the boots, looking for the Titan's mitts. Unfortunately, we know that the Titan's mitts are in Skull Woods, which would lead to the boots in the specialist chest or Gary's lunchbox.
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of effort to get those. Hey, we're getting one of the rare sightings of a shop in Thieves Town or Village Back.
Quickly picking up a little bit of red goo, not a bad idea.
Been a very overpriced red goo.
That it is. But if it's convenient and on your way, you're willing to pay for it.
Alright, we are getting our first Sahasrahla check.
A little bit of love, a big 20, and some more love from Sahasrahla. Nothing really helpful. But Signumbs does get their bow, which... very good.
Right, that's going to be another 2 easy crystals. Assuming the bosses. Speaking of bosses, are we going to get our Thieves Town play, looks like?
They definitely have more health. Probably going to finish checking out Thieves Town as well.
We can find out what's in that basement chest.
But yes, we're getting our Eastern play on Sakyori's side. Or, not Eastern, that is Pod.
First things first, we're going to find out if this dungeon is bow.
This dungeon is still bow locked for the boss.
You're right.
But any other room where it could have been bow locked will no longer be bow locked because Randomizer works weird in that way where it doesn't put bow locked enemies in areas that you need to open.
You're absolutely correct. I always forget that one little thing about Pod. I know it, but then I forget it when I...
Randomizer is very weird, and it's hard to keep everything in your head with it. And that hint is just a joke hint, not very helpful. Western Wing of Swamp is just some cash and a heart piece. I don't think our runners are going to go over to the left side of Swamp. Also, with it being a pendant.
Yeah, we actually got a very nice pendant selection.
And Signumbs did forget that you don't have to bomb that.
Once again, muscle memory. And Signumbs, unfortunately, tapping the lever with the boomerang instead of throwing it out all. Cannot say I haven't done that one before.
That has caused many a death. Now we're going down into the basement of Thieves Town. See what they get from that big chest. Sakyori is still clearing out Pod. Haven't found anything of interest yet, but typically you find all your keys early and then all the stuff in the back.
Alright, so small key in hand, we're off to the big chest.
Just a key for a key on Sakyori's side, and our big chest is just 10 arrows, and that's actually really good news for Sakyori.
Get a bombos in the basement of Pod, the first basement.
Very nice. That does put... Well, that will put Ice Palace into logic once he finds... Well, once he gets his Titan mitts to go get that chain of items. Signumbs is now taking on their Moldorm fight. Very quick with that hammer.
Question now is, which set of progression does Signumbs choose to head towards next?
With everything that they have, I would probably be looking at Pod and Eastern.
Oh!
Sakyori grabbing that mirror again.
Man, that has got to feel bad. You're getting a graveyard, let's check though. Just for some cash.
Alright, Sakyori is gonna go check the Dark Maze. Thankfully has a lamp, so doesn't have to do that craziness. And some chain chomps right there on Signumbs' side.
Of course, random chain jump.
Still on that green mail though. Really want to find that blue mail so that they'll start taking less damage. Some of these enemies they've been running into do a lot. But they are turning in their mushroom. And just the swag net and pod. Big chest.
Bombs on the mushroom. But a good chance to stock up on potions. And plenty of money to do so.
This is true. Now they have a red, 2 blue, and a fairy, if I'm not mistaken. Now with that mirror and flippers, they'll be able to grab everything over by Catfish, Zora, Waterfall Cave. This is much better routing on Signumb's side, especially since they got those Titan mitts so much earlier. And we find the magic powder. Waterfall Cave just having some bombs and a little bit of love, but it was another full heart container. Looks like Sakyori is getting ready to head down to Helmasaur's room. But without that bow, they can't actually access them. And taking another death. And Zora proving to be a giant ripoff with just 10 arrows. Sakyori is going to be very, very sad when they finally make it over to Helmasaur and then realize they don't have the bow and not able to actually access the boss.
Ooh, did you see that?
I'm sorry, I missed it. What was it?
Hylia Island has a hook shot.
That is very important to find.
Very much a necessary item. And obtainable, so I imagine the Signumbs will be heading for that here very soon.
With Titan, Smith's mirror, that's very quick to grab.
Yep, heading there now.
That will put Swamp Palace into logic for them.
Swampy and a crystal, though. I'd imagine after we pick up that hook shot, we'll head to the Eastern Pod.
More than likely, it would be Eastern Pod, but once again, Sakyori still not going to Skull Woods to get their Titans mitts. Going to make their dip into the Eastern Palace. With Sig having that hook shot, That's going to make some of the movement in some of the areas a little bit easier.
Right, and that's just yet another item off the list towards go mode. We still need a flute, and we at least need a fire.
We also need the Cane of Samaria.
Yes, sorry.
So flute, fire rod, and cane is potentially all he needs for go mode, but if running into a Trinex, that ice rod will be required as
Right, and in addition, we still are missing at least one medallion on Sakyori's side, 2 unsigned.
we still don't really know what our medallions are to get into Mire or Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock, at least, we can go find out. With Titan's Mitts and Hookshot in hand, that's actually 6 item checks aside from Turtle Rock.
This is very, very true.
Has to go back into the thicket for a second and grab Kiki. Unfortunately, with iframes active, you cannot pick the monkey up.
That is a very finicky monkey that wants to steal your money.
One very greedy little extorter.
So far, nothing has been in Eastern, but they have all their... Well, there's another hint about the specialist.
Right, maybe that'll put that in Sakyori's mind.
I can't get to it, not without the Titan's mitts.
But once we pick those mitts up, hopefully that'll steer her in that direction. This really isn't a common thing to see, or this really is a common thing to see, though. Skipping School Woods without some runners like to hit it early because it's a quick check, but many runners don't like to go there at all without Fire Rod.
That is true.
So I really can't blame Sakyori.
I can't blame them either. Rapidly running out of checks, so eventually they'll have to go there. Not finding anything in Eastern Palace, and not going to go check the boss, which
Yep.
isn't bow locked.
Once again, like you said earlier, sometimes it just doesn't click.
This is very, very true.
I love that little trick that Signumbs just pulled there, being able to actually bonk up onto the platform.
It's a very nifty trick, and it's looks easier than it actually is.
Nonetheless, it looks cool. I guess I'm just easily impressed.
Anytime I'm watching the runners, I'm impressed, because they definitely play this game better than I do most of the time.
Same.
Looks like Sakyori is going to make a dip into Desert Palace after checking Agina and going to realize that it's bow locked. Meanwhile, Signumbs does pick up their bombos. Say bow lock? I meant
You mean
boots locked.
It's all good.
Bow, boots, they sound pretty similar. Sakyori does get their cape.
It doesn't help that Bo is boots locked in the seed, too.
It really doesn't.
And there's that mushroom again. Of course, we know it doesn't really lead to any.
And Signumbs picking up their powder. Well, while our runners are kind of retracing over the steps the other has run, why not give them a quick follow? Make sure they are definitely putting themselves out here for your entertainment today.
Definitely. Randomizer is not an easy setting, let me tell you.
Sometimes Randomizer is very friendly towards you, and you get a bunch of Mothulas and Armos Knights, and then other times, sometimes you get like All Praise the Vitreous in 4 dungeons.
I'd really like to see one of these easy Randomizer settings. It never is nice.
It happens about as often as, well, maybe when the moon is blue and red, you'll see.
Oh, so ped seed.
Exactly. Now, Signumbs having their bow is going to be able to finish up Pod. And Sakyori quickly realizing that they are boots locked in the Desert Palace.
Hey, it's a very good thing to see this hint again. Or not.
Well, they would get the same hint that they got in Eastern Palace for that chest. Gary's
Right.
lunchbox.
Right, but once again, just beat it into his head, so as soon as we pick up them Titan mitts.
Definitely going to go grab the mushroom, probably rush to turn that in, and then at that point, I think all they have left really is Bumper Cave and Skull Woods.
Well, that will at least be good for security. And not the most friendly room.
Bunch of Hinox, some of the little shadow bugs.
Showing some game knowledge against those Hinoxes, though. A single bomb will take them. Apparently, they don't like to get smoke in their eye.
And doesn't help, still on the fighter sword as well.
Right. Single silver arrow would also do the trick. Oh, nice lucky double kill.
Very nice.
Sakyori jumping in the safety room with the fairies and desert. All right, here we go.
Wonder what our boss is going to be today. Another Moldorm. Sakyori trying to go to the back of Desert Palace, but again, without the boots, can't get that big key, which means can't get to their Armos fight back. Very nice fight on Signumbs' side, though.
I wonder what Sakyori is thinking. Meanwhile, Signumbs heads straight into Eastern. Should be a nice, simple, easy. Once again, not a very friendly.
Yeah. Eastern should be able to full clear it unless there is a Trinex.
Well, I've seen Randomizers that have been particularly nasty, but never had a Trinex, so maybe we'll. In that awkward moment.
May have forgot that you're required to have the big key to get to Landmos, or in our case, it would be Armos, but...
Rage slash and just stares at us for a good 5 seconds. Signumbs utilizing that hook shot make quick work of Eastern. Here's a pretty neat little shortcut you can make on the second chest, and it just helps speed you up all around.
That's true, and also can use the hook shot to skip an entire room in Eastern. Very quick Eastern Palace.
Right, it's almost like the developers had Randomizer in mind when they made that, just the way they set it up.
Nintendo always has their weird quirks. Sakyori, looks like they're heading back towards the village of outcasts. Kakariko, hopefully they're heading towards the Skull Wood.
This is one of those points where Randomizer actually makes it a little easier. You don't have the anti-fairies on that switch. And we will be heading back.
I don't know if I would say easier, but sometimes just a little bit quicker.
Fair enough.
Because I have seen rollers over that switch before, and that is never fun.
No, there is nothing that's ever fun about roller. Ever. Speaking of rooms, this is one of the 2 rooms that I despise in Randomizer.
Especially if you end up having to do this room in the dark, it can be really, really nasty. And still on that fighter sword is making this room quite a bit more difficult as well.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we need to add fighter sword to the, or another sword to that list of items. We're still gonna.
That's right, you need at least Master Sword to be able to hurt Ganon.
We're getting that Skull Woods playing Sakyori side though.
I actually like that because that's going to prevent them from popping those holes up before they check the chest.
Fair enough.
Make coming back down a little bit faster.
And I'm not sure why we're taking the long way around with a key in hand. I guess we'll be able to skip that last room in Skull Woods before the boss. speaking of boss fights, here we go again.
I wonder what we're going to be facing today in Eastern
I'm
Palace.
gonna call Diddy. Nope.
Just another Moldorm. Sakyori finally gets their Titan's mitts. Not much progress out of Eastern, but it is another crystal. And that is crystal number 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. 4 crystals down, 3 to go. Mire and Turtle Rock, especially. Otherwise, I think we still got Skull Woods.
Skull Woods, Mire, and Turtle Rock is all that Signumbs has left to do.
Right, we're gonna have to find items before we can really scale them. So where to now, Signumbs? I would almost say Death Mountain Dark.
With that hook shot, Titan's mitts, I would definitely be heading up to Dark Death.
Well, items notwithstanding, there's always that medallion requirement that you... And are we getting the escape play now?
That's right, they'd never finished the rest of Escape. Only Sakyori checked Uncle. Never thought I'd be seeing an Escape check after an hour.
Well, I mean, Randomizer, escape can be harder than some of the...
This is very true, and Escape was pretty rough on 3 and 4 hard.
And we do know from the back of Escape that every item in here is still going to be an item and not a dungeon.
That is correct. And it looks like Sakyori is going to head to the graveyard lead. Alright, and after this room, it'll be all new knowledge and Escape at 1 hour and 17 minutes. And there's Arcane. So that does put both Misery Mire and Turtle Rock into play.
Well, once Flute's found.
That's right, still need the flute for Misery Mire.
And we would actually need a very specific setup on Turtle Rock for it to be in play with that fire.
Once again, I am corrected.
Well, I mean, kinda. You theoretically could finish Turtle Rock. Like I said, it just has to have certain keys in certain spots.
This is very true. If the keys are in the fire rod lock location, that would be very difficult to do.
Well, I mean, unless Signumbs knows how to super hover fast enough to do it with a lantern, I don't think anybody could. And a piece of heart finishes our escape sequence. Definitely worthwhile.
Very worthwhile escape. They still have Swamp Palace in play. I know it's a pendant, but
You're right, and it is 6 items. We are doing that Dark Mountain first.
Thankfully, we do know what 2 of the items are in Swamp Palace on the left side, and they're worthless, so you can also skip left side.
Right. And who knows? I don't think we've had a ped check yet, so I mean, there's that.
It very well still could be in play.
And speaking of pendants, we've always got green pendant Ice Palace too.
I'm fairly certain that's going to be one of the absolute last plays our runners are going to make, because no one wants to do a pendant Ice Palace.
Well, that's precisely why it will have progress.
Alright, and we're getting a magic bat check now.
Everybody say hi to Albert.
And just a big 20. Fire Shield. And finally, the Master Sword. And Turtle Rock is Bombos today. Which I believe both our runners do have.
Oh, already not liking the placement of this.
That is a little mean. And then immediately find Tempered.
But of course. I'm about to pick boots up on Sakyori's side.
And there's our flute. That's like
spike troll.
That is a very cruel place for it. But you do have the kick. For just a piece of heart. But finding 2 sword upgrades and that flute, that's a pretty big jump.
Yeah, that's definitely value.
And looks like they're also going to go check that ether tablet while they're over here. Maybe even Spike Kick.
And now we actually do have some a very good chance to go check out my.
Unless Meyer is Trinex, it will be full clearable.
As long as it's Bombos or Weaver, at least.
This is true. Still don't know where our Quake medallion is.
Well, nonetheless, that's where I would be going. Find out that medallion. Signumbs marked cut all of those bushes. It's actually only the 4 cardinal directions that have hearts in them. And having just enough hearts to muscle their way through a spike.
Very nice, but only for a big 20. Probably go activate that flute, and I would head straight to Meyer, like you'd said. And potentially, at the moment, just a fire rod away from go mode.
And the goose is loose. Sakyori looks to be heading back to Eastern and Pod, finish those off bow in hand.
Makes sense from their standpoint. They're pretty much clear, just have the bosses to do.
Signum's checking Albert out. Gonna find nothing on the bat.
Just a little bit more money. Not that they really needed it.
Well, you know, gotta save up that cash or eventually gonna buy Eastern Palace. What else do you do with a hoard of rupees?
Keep buying blue potions because Randomizer is cruel.
Fair enough. Eastern Palace can wait.
And Sig is definitely heading straight towards Meyer. Now, unless this is Quake, it is full clearable. If it's Quake, though, they can't.
It is Bombos, though.
Double Bombos today.
Once again, all of these full clearable remarks are assuming the bosses are not a try.
That is correct. The only thing they cannot beat is Trinex. Finding a shovel means another fetch quest.
Well, we all know what a shovel could hold.
Checkerboard not really having any progression there. A little mini Helmosaur stuck in the water.
Yeah, gotta love the placement of some item or some of these enemies on the wall. You'd think an enemy like Octorok would be able to run through water, but have you seen one in Zora's Domain before? Nope. And Sakyori's in the first crazy room.
Not the worst placement of enemy.
Nah, I've walked in there to Lionel's, Hinox's, Wallmasters, and Spike Rollers before, so I mean...
Bunch of Igors, probably a little bit faster than the Wizrobes to clear out.
Hey, as long as that giant Beamos in the center is gone, I'd be...
I agree, that Beamos is one of the meanest things to place right there.
And potentially crazy room number 2. Here we go. Poor Sakyori still on that fighter sword. Nice shot on that tech type.
Very nice. There's our big key for Meyer.
At this point, if I was Signumbs, I'd go ahead and head to the boss. Come back in for items afterwards, but eliminating the boss as one of the item holders always saves you time.
That would be a pretty big gamble to make at this point in time. Especially if you don't know if you could actually clear the boss.
Oh, fair enough. It is Randomizer.
And meanwhile, we finally get our next crystal for Sakyori. Trying to make up some time. Just a compass in the first firelock chest. And because Sig does not have that fire rod, it's going to be even slower to do for the cutscene chest.
Definitely.
Pretty vanilla Wizrobes in these two rooms, though.
Yep, Wizrobes actually, many rando seeds, you don't even see them spawn in because you just run in, quick fire rod shot.
This is very, very true. And another joke hint.
But there is money in the banana stand. Hey!
There's our fire rod.
I call that poor man's Goma.
At this point with the items you have, I would just assume let's go ahead and do go mode. Simply because you have a low chance of running into Trinex. It's one boss out of...
Right. Very least hit Skull Woods up, you know your items are gone from there, and then just Turtle Rocket.
Half magic though, nice find. Sakyori making their way back to Helmasaur, which I believe was a Troll Dorm as well.
Yes, Trolldorm is our MVP of the day thus far. And utilizing that furnace trap for that troll.
Very much so, but again, hammer would make this quite a bit easier and faster.
It would.
Regardless, still, nice fight. Finished it up.
I'm not sure why Signumbs just decided to powder that little guy, but I enjoyed it. So it's I myself am guilty a couple times of powdering dead rocks just for the ability to.
They are some of the most annoying creatures in the game, and even worse than Randomizer. Only a heart and a half, but still has their fairy. I'm just gonna drink some blue goo.
Yep.
So where do you go now, Sack? You're gonna head towards Desert or back up to Death Mountain? Oh yeah, I forgot. Bonkrots, which will now give them their flippers. A vanilla Vitreous with silver arrows. Blink and you might miss it.
And done.
Very nice and very clean Vitreous fight.
I hold Vitreous as the being one of the hardest bosses you can fight, or one of the easiest bosses, depending on what you're.
Basically just an equipment check boss. If you have Butter Sword, he's very quick. If you have Silver Aries, he's very quick. And even just Tempered Sword, he's not too bad, but Fighter Sword Vitreous is never fun.
Yeah, Tempered Sword, just a couple double spins and you're good. However, you get stuck fighting him with a Fighter Sword or just a hammer.
Alright, and now Signumbs is heading straight into Skull Woods, which makes sense. And once again, barring running into Trinex, we are in go mode.
Well, that does it for our Skull Woods item.
And it does, just leaves a whatever's going to be in the moth lair. I am really hoping for a Helmasaur today. Looks like Sakyori is going to open up Turtle Rock, but without the Cane of Samaria, can only check the first hint.
At the very least, it's open for a return trip.
Very, very true.
Sorry, I try to find the positives, even if it's just the smallest positive. I'm surprised we didn't check the hint.
It doesn't have the hook shot, so it can only check the first chest here in hook shot.
Yeah, frustrating knowing how easy it was to actually get to that hook.
And then picks up the pot, so no longer able to do the bonk over to that chest.
Just misses shoving that Gibdo onto that spike. I wonder why he's struggling with this. You only have to turn side. Wow, vanilla moth.
We've had 2 vanilla bosses. Kind of interesting today. But Sakyori did grab their Master Sword. We'll be able to go check Super Bunny Cave. And the moth is down.
Can technically finish up with Ether Tab and Spike Cave, although we know it's really...
It's really nothing, but at least, you know, got their Tempered Sword, Fire Shield. Yeah, gonna head right on over to the Ether Tablet, probably also check Spike Cave. Meanwhile, Sig is gonna make their climb up to Death Mountain and finish off Turtle Rock. After stocking up on some more blue goo, of course.
Right. If I were Signumbs, I almost would have went ahead and did a ped check. Just in case you ran into Trinex and needed that ice rod. I mean, you were right there. Maybe I'm just excited for ped hype, though.
Always should be happy for ped hype, but I would probably do the same thing Saiga is doing and just head straight up to Turtle Rock and then deal with needing to find Ice Rod later if I absolutely have.
Right, I mean, it is a race, I guess. I do a lot more casual play than I do tournament races, so I have to get more and more into that mind.
Why are you heading back into Tower of Hera?
I am not sure at all what he is doing.
Maybe he simply forgot that they had already full cleared Hera?
Chat's saying the Sakyori didn't finish Hera. It is possible that Sakyori did die and then just go straight to coffee break. I thought she finished.
It's possible, but
I know she was at the boss, though. I mean, I remember seeing it in crazy mode even. I guess we'll find out in a second. But I'm not crazy, am I? You remember that too, right?
I thought they fought the boss as well. Maybe they did die. I guess they did, and we were...
Wow. Alright, well, I guess here goes Mom. Apparently brought a couple spikes with him. Well, our bad, guys. Sorry about that.
This room is so much easier without the rollers.
Much of Turtle Rock is easier in Randomizer. I'll give you that. So we're hoping this isn't Trinex. What are you hoping for in Turtle Rock's boss?
You know, we haven't seen Cold Stare yet, and that's always a fun.
You know, that's exactly what I was hoping for, to be honest. This room, though, super easy. No change up.
Sig making very quick work of TR.
Oh, I thought Sakyori was heading for the lake area to find the hook shot. Looks like we're going to escape, which is also a good play. We're going to find some...
Yep, still needs that hook shot. Still needs the Cane of Samaria. We know where all those items are.
Right, but missing 4 or 5 items still. Sakyori's going to have to pull off a miracle to really come back at this.
There's our big key.
Well, that is it for mandatory chest checks. As to whether or not we're really open anything else, though, I don't...
I think needs to find one more key.
Yeah. I think just one more key, actually.
And there's Sakyori's Cane of Samaria. Big chest just containing a burrito today. And it looks like Sakyori is going to find where their hookshot is. Probably ecstatic to see that. Sig looks like he's got a very nice dark room set up in this Randomizer. Sometimes I see some really nasty things spawn in here.
And it appears Signumbs is 100% all in, not even stopping for Laser Bridge.
It makes sense at this point because the chance of Trinex is actually fairly low, and that would be the only thing that would stop you from being able to go mode everything is running into Trinex.
Right, and at 1 hour and 48 minutes in, you've got to start feeling the pressure as a...
Exactly. You have no idea what your opponent has done, hasn't done, where they're at.
And here we go. Oh, man.
That is a Trinex vanilla. See, now here I would go to... I would probably check the Mimic Cave, and then I'd go and check Laser Bridge. Just in the just in the off chance that maybe it's right there before trying.
How many vanilla bosses has that been now?
That's the third one. Oh, and Sakyori is making the play into Ice Palace. This could be big, though, because
Right.
now Sig's got to find that ice rod and no idea where it's at.
It could be an ice palace.
Could be an Ice Palace. Could be on Pedestal. Could be on the green pendant from Ice Palace. Could be in Swamp Palace. It's a lot of locations that it could be.
And this also raises the question of how much pressure Sakyori's feeling at this point. Several deaths, couple wrong turns. This could be a super huge gamble that actually turns the...
First chest in Ice Palace is just a little bit of love. Meanwhile, Sig is doing pretty much what I thought they would do. Check Mimic Cave and then go check Laser Bridge.
The play makes sense. I mean, if it's here, then you're already here. And if it's not here, at least it's off.
And Sakyori just noping back out of Ice Palace. Wonder what their next play is going to be. That's right, they still haven't gotten their flute from the Hookshot Cave. And there's your ice rod, back into go mode.
Not gotten lucky.
That is a pretty lucky and fairly convenient ice rod location. Sakyori is going to start dipping Swamp Palace now. Do believe they also got the hint about left side not being worth any items, but at this point, everything they need is outside of those pendant dungeons and needs to go get that flute up on Hookshot Cave. Commentator's curse, we know and they don't.
At the very least, we can officially call this 100% full-blown go.
And that is an awesome hint to find right there in Swamp Palace, telling them where the fire rod is.
Well, that's one step. Unfortunately for Sakyori, we're gonna have to go back up the mountain. And we've basically isolated the last 3 items in Hook.
This is very true. But with this Trinex defeat, ooh, there's the blue mail, finally. You know, there should be a certain guessing game we have now that they have all 7 crystals.
Is there now? Why don't you tell me about it?
Well, we're going to be looking for the Ganon's Tower Big Key. And it's in one of 2 chest locations. One of 22 chest locations inside of the basement of Ganon's Tower. So go ahead and get your guesses into chat.
Wow, I typed 23. I meant key number 13. What do you think?
I always like it simple. I usually guess number 8.
Number 8 would be left side fire bar. Or right side the southwest.
Well, when I usually run it, I usually find it in the fire bar room, so, and that's just me personally. So that's why my guess is always number 8. Though chest 1 and 2. Number 3 is just a small key.
Well, my guess should plant me smack in the middle of random.
Sig just got the big key for Swamp Palace. This 4 is a small key. 5 is a big 20. 6 is a single green rupee, and then 7 is another small.
Sakyori got nailed by that chain chomp going in. Luckily, we still had... Here goes your room. Very simple room compared to a normal. Thank you, Randomizer. We got a Quake medallion.
Oh, looks like my guess was wrong, but Quake?
You got a consolation prize.
I'll take it.
Fair enough. Everybody's always wanted a Quake.
Ah, there's our second mail upgrade in Swamp Palace. Alright, here we come to Rando Room. $10, $11, $12, and chest number 13.
What? I guessed right for a change?
It looks like it.
Wow, that's lucky.
Oh, and it looks like Swamp Palace had a Helmasaur fight.
Yeah, you got your Helmasaur finally.
Yeah, but it's not as fun as if he was in Skull Woods. It is so hilarious. Now then, wonder what the Gauntlet's gonna have for us today in Enemy.
Gauntlet is notoriously easy typically compared, in my opinion.
I agree. I find that it is quite a bit easier at Randomizer than in the normal, barring, some unfortunate circumstance.
Well, there's an exception to every rule.
Exactly.
And Signumbs passing through Ganon Ball Z. And we got Pin Gators.
Pin Gators. One of my favorite enemies, simply because the hook shot kills them in one hit.
Pick shots and bombs. Anything else, good luck. Better sword.
Just some bombs on that bombos. Alright, heading into desert once again.
Well, this time it is full clearable.
And luckily,
And...
because
Sorry, go ahead.
they already opened up all those doors, they can just run through once they grab that big...
I was going to say, lucky for Sakyori, this time we have a bow. We can actually kill Armister.
This is true.
And another Randomized Gauntlet room where everything can be killed with a hook.
This is one of the nicest gauntlets I've seen.
Amen to that. Hey, you got another Helmasaur.
Always fun to see another Helmasaur.
And once again, that fire shooter coming into play.
In this case, if only Link could have their shield facing in the other direction.
I was gonna say, if only that fire shooter was on the other side. Same deal. Not sure why Sakyori was pulling pots up. Maybe muscle memory?
Definitely muscle memory is part of it.
And Signumbs does end up dropping a goo in this fight. And misses his chance to just launch a single silver arrow into the dome. It's alright though, gets a pretty quick kill. And the fire shooter just gave.
Alright. Landmo 2, or now Helmasaur, is down.
Did want to give one more shout out to these amazing runners making it this far in the into the group stages and putting on one heck of an amazing show for us. Thank you guys. Give them a
Nice use of ether right there. And with that, Sakyori has finished up their Armos and Desert fight.
And once again, also shout outs to Wolfman for the restream on this and several of our other races. Thank you, sir. And to all of our restreamers that have showed up. Thank you guys. You really don't know what a difference you guys have made. And I mean, hey, if you want to throw us as commentators to follow too, I wouldn't complain. Although, really, I'm here for fun, so.
I'm just here to have some fun and commentate, learn new logic, you know.
Right.
So,
I mean, I've learned several tricks just by commentating.
oh yeah. Though Sig did take a fall in that fire room.
All right, and Vitreous, a very free Vitreous, I might add, at Trolldworm too. Just stand to the left and or do it the hard. There we go. Sakyori is making their way back up to Hookshot Cave. Very good to see.
That it is.
Will be rewarded.
Just as Sig is finishing up the gauntlet, but they did find their flute.
All right, I'm gonna make a prediction on rounds. We're gonna get 2 hits, 1 hit, 1 hit. There's 2.
That's a nice double. And then a 0.
Yes.
I mean, Geometry Aghanim, not a fun.
I wanted to point out in chat, yes, Signumbs was very nice and did not steal Vitreous' possessions today. Only murdered him. That's it.
And with that, it's time for everyone's favorite battle with the pig.
Sakyori is dipping Turtle Rock without any rods whatsoever.
I'm a little surprised by that because they did get the hint of where the fire rod was in Mire.
And the likelihood of being able to make it through Turtle Rock without the fire rod is very low.
It's a little strange.
I unfortunately do not remember how early he will be shut down in Turtle Rock.
I believe...
Oh, and Signumbs has the amazing chance to go hit that top right corner, do spin slashes, but doesn't really take a...
Gonna use... I was gonna use Cane Strat, or Cape Strats.
And are we out of potions? Uh-oh.
They still have their fairy, though, I believe.
Okay.
I'm gonna find out if my memory is correct.
Wow, held that fairy the entire game.
On to phase 3.
And with only blue mail, has to be careful, cannot take again. And Signumbs, if you're watching already, don't play with my emotions like this. You're scaring me.
Alright, just a couple shots from the silver arrows, and that'll wrap
There's
this.
one.
And gets the torch glitch. Very nice.
Yep, there's 2.
Don't think you can get a double off that one.
Nah, you wouldn't have time to run around. This should do it, though.
And there's shot number 4.
And the pig has been skewered.
Just gotta get across that bridge.
And GG Signumbs.
Very much GG.
Get those GGs in the chat. And it looks like Sakyori is just going to go ahead and stop there. So let's get some GGs for Sakyori too for such a nice. Oh, maybe still going on.
Well, looks like they're gonna continue.
Probably just stop to check SRL for a minute.
And it looks like we are joined by Signumbs. GG.
GG's.
Oh, thank you. That was an interesting one. Not really too incredibly terrible with the Randomizer.
What was your thoughts when you saw Trinex right there when you were go-moding everything?
I was really hoping it wasn't going to be him because the way things have been going for me lately with the game, I figured that meant it was going to be buried in the bottom of a swamp or something like that. Whatever the last place I could have checked would have been. But I got lucky and it's right there on the laser bridge.
You did get very lucky with it being right there on Laser Bridge. Sakyori, your opponent actually did go into Swamp. Really wasn't much in there other than a blue mail up.
As I say, there couldn't have been much left in Ice or Swamp because I found just about everything. It's only a couple upgrades short of finding everything.
Pretty much. Pretty much the only thing that really determined the seed was you found those Titan's myths very quickly, whereas Sakyori just held off on checking the rest of Skull Woods.
That was kind of a mistake. I wasn't even really planning on that, but then it just kind of got bumped up, and so I was like, well, I'll go check the front of Skull Woods quick.
But yeah, no, very, very nice race. You have anything you'd like to say to the audience? Any final?
No. What's up with Chicken Hut being full of chickens in Randomizer? It's usually full of guards.
Yeah,
I saw
kidding.
that. I made that comment. It was like, wow, that is the nicest chicken hut in Randomizer ever.
Yeah, this is actually really a pretty simple one for an Randomizer. They're pretty generous on giving us lots of mold orms for bosses. Yeah, no real crazy. Other than the upstairs at Thieves Town, there wasn't any real crazy spots.
Oh, this is a pretty kind Randomizer. Extra Mothula, and a lot of just vanilla bosses too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, GG Signums.
Yes, GG's to both these amazing runners. You guys put on one heck of a performance.
And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up and have a nice little surprise for Sakyori today. They are going to continue on with the seed.
You gotta respect that. You really do.
No, this has been a fun seed. I'm very happy to see that they're continuing. So we're gonna wrap up. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure you give our runners a follow, Signums and Sakyori. Also, thank you so much to the tracker and my co-commentator today, Seto, and our restreamer,
Hey.
Wolfman.
Yes, it's been a pleasure working with you today.
The pleasure is all mine. And now we are going to send a raid right on over to Sakyori.